that I've seen that with AdWords and with pay-per-click, generally what's happening is websites aren't recording any analytical data, and if they're recording analytical data, they're not doing it properly, so they're not recording conversions. So the first thing you must do is you must run something like Google Analytics, and you must have a conversion goal. If you don't, you have no idea about how much each keyword that you're bidding on is making you in terms of money. So you do not know the threshold of what that keyword is worth for you. So you can actually have a positive campaign generally, but you can have keywords, and quite a lot of keywords in there, actually losing you money. And the only way to measure that effectively is to run something like Google Analytics and set your goals, and also report as well. Run monthly reports. I mean, Google Analytics, that's another subject, but it is beautiful. It is the core of all internet marketing. You can run automatic reports every month, but look at those reports, run through your data, run through it regularly. It kind of annoys me a bit. I get called into a project, or I go ahead with a project, and actually there's all this analytical data and it's not been looked at, and people ask me questions like, why is this not doing this, and why is our website not performing like this, which is how we want it to perform. Well, actually the analytical data will tell you, it will explain to you what's going on, and pretty much any question you can have about what's going on your website can be answered with something like Google Analytics. So yeah, run an analytics package. That's pretty much it. As I said, your advert is core, so it's not just about the bid, it's about the relevancy of your landing page. And the real mistake people make with that is they bid on a keyword and they put the URL link to the advert straight through to their homepage. What you want to do is put it through to your sales page, the one that is making you money. Generally what you find is, again, if you go into Google Analytics and you analyse your user behaviour, users will generally only click on so many pages. So if you put them on another page, they're going to maybe take 1 or 2 pages to get to that page, and then necessarily they're not 100% of the time going to do that. So make sure it goes to the sales page. If it doesn't go to the sales page, you're not making a sale out of that click. And also with the landing page, if it is your sales page, it's going to be relevant to what you're bidding on and to your advert. So it's gonna lower the amount you bid on. So what should you bid on? Quite often I see 2 mistakes. I see that companies are not putting enough money into AdWords, and if you don't put enough money into AdWords, if you don't put enough money into some of the keywords, actually they get 0 visibility. So in terms of visibility, you want to have them ranked in the top 3 in pay-per-click listings, which again are up here and down there. So generally you're it's kind of like puffy visitors. They're not really that interested, and actually pay-per-click tends to work really well for expensive services and stuff like that, because the person clicking an advert knows that you paid for that, and if they paid for it, they know you can afford it, and if you're listed at the bottom, you're paying less than the guy at the top. Some of the reports and analysis I've seen say actually it's not just click-through rate, but you get a better conversion rate. Some of the reports say first, some say second, but basically you want to be first or second for every keyword that you bid on, and if you're not, it's not efficient enough. So it's basically, if that's not the case for you and you can't afford to, don't bid on it. Just stick to the stuff you can do well. The other mistake I see the big companies making is that they just throw a load of money at Google AdWords, and they just don't care because they've got a limitless budget. Well, actually, if you analyse what I just said, if you make your landing page better and if you do some of the other stuff, then actually you're lowering your click-through rate, and actually you can be competing on more keywords by making your landing page more relevant, making your advert more relevant. And lastly, it's about the advert. It's actually, you got to treat it a bit like advertising for something in a newspaper. It's like you got to pretty much grab your user by the horns, or by some other word that I won't use, and you've got to say, look, what you've got what you want is what I've got. So it's all about understanding your market, understanding your user, and actually that's all internet marketing is. It's understanding what the person visiting your web page wants, and it's delivering it to them as quick as you can. There's a few gimmicky things you can do, such as put your phone number in. When you write your URL, if you've got a domain name, say we got BN Web, we'd put B and W in capital letters so it kind of stands out a bit. So it's just looking at what your competitors are doing in terms of listing, because actually most listings are pretty dull and boring. I mean, they don't inspire you to click. Actually, if they don't inspire you to click, then you're ruining your campaigns. And the last thing to say about what Google do in terms of algorithm for AdWords is they historically measure things. So if you've historically had a really good campaign, a really good account, then that will be a positive for you. If you have done stuff where, like stuff we talked about before, where your landing page isn't relevant, where your ads are a bit funny. Actually, Google are really getting quite strict on this. If it's not relevant enough, they'll just pull it, and ultimately people are getting banned or people are getting warned. Yeah, that's about as much advice as I can give you in slightly less than 15 minutes. Sorry for the waffling, but hey, you'll kind of get used to it. As I said, any questions about AdWords or anything? So next questions. If no one in a week time gives me any decent questions, then I'm not going to answer them, so I'm going to make up my own. So ask them. Okay, thanks for listening. This is Tim. It's getting quite cold and dark now, so I've got to go indoors. Bye.